Howdy YouTube, Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Flash Station Playhouse. Yeah, that's my new name of Unky Joe's Playhouse. No, it's not. No, it's not. But I did promise to show you Plex and other media servers running on this Synology Flash Station. So, I've done it. I put Plex on here, I put Emby on here, and we even did some file transfers to get some movie files onto this Synology Flash Station from my Exponology NAS running on the Dell R710 under ESXi as a virtual machine with 6 serial ATA 2 terabyte hard drives pass through. That's a cotton picking mouthful again. So anyway, enough babbling on, Joe, because you know how I love to. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of the video so you can see how I made it happen. Alright, so right now I'm on Prometheus, which is my Exponology NAS running as a virtual machine under VMware ESXi 6.7 on the Dell R710. And it has a 10 gig networking card, and it has 6 drives, 2 terabyte drives in a SHR RAID. So what I want to do is I want to copy some data from here. Namely, I want to copy some of these video files and directories from here onto the Synology Flash Station that Sasha has let us borrow for a while. Because what we're going to do is put Plex on that FS-1018, and we're going to see how it works on there, how it performs, how many streams I could get going, that kind of thing. But I need to get some video over there first. Now, what I want to do is I want to copy some video over there, but I want to take my workstation out of the loop. I want to copy directly from the NAS to the NAS because people have asked about that. So what I've done is just create a test folder in here. And the reason I do this is because when you go to mount a remote share, you have to have a folder to mount that to. I don't know why Synology does it that way, but that's the way it works. So what I'm going to do is come up here to Tools, and I'm going to mount a remote folder, CIFS shared folder. And I need to know the IP address or the DNS name of that Flash Station. So I know it's 192.168.5.17. And then I think I know the name of the share. I think it's called video -R0 for RAID 0. And I know the account name on that one and the password. So you enter that in, and then we're going to click on mount. And it looks like we have some success. So there's nothing in that folder right now, but we also need to mount. This is on the RAID 0, so I also want to mount a remote folder on that same server on the RAID F1 volume. So I called that video -RF1, I believe is the name of it. Yeah. Same account name, same password. And let's see if I'm successful. And there you go. So here's the 2 folders I've created. One on the RAID 0, one on the RAID F1. So I'm just going to come up here to video, and I'm going to copy. Oh, goodness gracious. I think we'll just do family. Let's see how large the family share is. It's 144 gig. I'm going to have to do this piece by piece. So let me come out here. We'll create some folders. We'll create one called Action Adventure. Create a new folder, and you can do. That's the beauty of the Synology NAS. You can do all this within their file browser, and it's pretty good. So we'll do a comedy, and then we'll do a sci-fi folder, and then we'll copy a few files over there. Because the RAID F0 on that has a limited amount of space free on it. So now I'm going to come over here to the video. We'll grab, I don't want to grab any really big ones. Let's do these. Let's do A View to a Kill, At World's End, and then maybe Guardians of the Galaxy. So we'll right click and we'll copy those. And we'll come over here to R0. And then we'll go into the Action Adventure folder and right click and paste with skip. Now, both of these are on 10 gig connections, so let's see what kind of transfer speeds we get. Alright, so rather than sitting here, let me go do the same thing on F1 and create a new folder, and we'll call that Action Adventure. And this is on the 6 drive. Ooh, misspelled it there. Action Adventure. It helps if you spell it properly. We'll see if we get better copy speeds over here to the RAID F1. And then I can just come back up here to view. Let's view it here. Yeah, we'll see what kind of speeds we're getting. Actually, it doesn't show us the speed on here. So, all right. And so you see our transfer speeds here, about 170 megabytes per second, and this transfer is almost done. Now, I've already got those files queued up in the clipboard, so once they're done copying to this drive array, the RAID 0 array, I'll copy them to the RAID F1 and see if we get any better transfer speeds. I'm hoping we will, because this is kind of lackluster performance. And then I'm going to do the same thing with a Windows 10 machine. We'll copy with them. So we got about 160 megabytes per second. So let's come over to the F1 array, go into that Action Adventure folder, and go ahead and paste with skip. Let's see what kind of speed we get now. Yeah, they're starting off pretty strong. Keep an eye on this little indicator over here. I'm hoping we'll get 250 or better. Well, I was hoping, wasn't I? You would think the file transfer program within Synology would be the fastest way to do it, right? Because you're going machine to machine. But we'll see. All right, so we've got the files copied now. So now what I want to do is come out here and make sure I've got the video folder shared. And I do. And just let me look here. Yeah, it's shared. So let's go map some drive letters in Windows and try that copy again. All right, so over here on the left-hand side, File Explorer, we have Prometheus with all the video shares. And then on the right-hand side, I have connected to the RAID 0 array. So let's do comedy next. We'll do, let's see, let's just grab some files here. Oh, let's see, we'll do Austin Powers and maybe Airplane. And see if I have a high def one here. Yeah, Bridesmaids. We'll do Uncle Buck. So I've grabbed those and I'm going to drag them over here, copy them to comedy. Yeah, they might be harmful. And yeah, we start out at about, yeah, it's about the same speed we were getting Synology to Synology. So now that I have a 10 gig network card in my workstation, we're not feeling the impact of the 1 gig network, but you can see it writes at about 160 megabytes per second. It starts out really strong, I guess, as the buffer fills up, and then it goes out. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the RAID F1, and let's create a folder on there called Comedy, and we'll copy those same files, and we'll see what kind of speeds we get over here. Oh, I got to copy them again. All right, so we'll just grab some Airplane, Austin Powers, and Uncle Buck. And drag them over here. Yeah. And much better transfer speeds. Wouldn't you say? I would say those are much better transfer speeds. Now, seeing as I have a little more space on the F1 volume, I'm going to go ahead and copy a large file, Bridesmaids. So we'll copy that over here. It's a 25 gig file. And we'll see if it maintains that 500 to 600 megabytes per second. So yeah, those are good copy speeds. So I think I'll stick to copying files between my NASs by using Windows Explorer. I just seem to have better luck with that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and copy some more files over there so we have some video files we can actually test. Alright, so this is the dashboard I'm used to seeing where it tells you what the video and audio is playing and who's playing it and whether it's being direct streamed, direct played, or whatever. So now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to close, I'm going to stop watching it here. And I'm going to actually open Plex in a new tab over here. Alright, and we're going to play it now in a web browser. So we'll start from the beginning. It's finally refreshed. So let's go to the dashboard. So now you can see it's also direct playing this. It's direct playing the H.264 with the AAC stereo. So let's go ahead and stop this. And let's go ahead and play a high def video. Let's play Guardians. And I'm going to turn subtitles on as well. We'll let this start playing and see what kind of impact that has on it. So it seems I have to switch to Hermes and then back to the file station or the flash station in order to get my dashboard to work. So you'll see it is now transcoding video and audio as it plays in this browser. So what I'll be curious to see is what kind of impact that has on the flash station. So you see, obviously it does not have a video encoder built onto the whatever chip it is you're using that flash station. Alright, so here's Emby up and running now. So let's go ahead and let's play Guardians of the Galaxy. You mute the volume here. I do want to turn on subtitles. You know, I fell in love with Emby when I first started playing around with it. It just worked really well. Okay, you see we had a little herky-jerky there, but let's go here and let's look. So it is transcoding with the Emby web app, and it is transcoding H.264 to H.264 AVC. Let's see what kind of load that's putting on the server, and you can see it's quite a bit less because I believe Emby uses FFmpeg. Yeah, it does. And I think FFmpeg is a little more efficient on resources than whatever it is that Plex uses. And somebody out there who knows Plex better than I do can correct me. But this was one of the things I really liked about Emby, is it just seemed to really do better with high-def video than Plex did, at least on the devices I was using Plex on. So you see now we've been able to get Emby up and running. We've been able to get Plex up and running. Now, I'm going to go download the Emby media player because they have one that'll run under Windows just like Plex does. And it should then be able to direct play these videos instead of having to transcode them. Let's see how it fast forwarded pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4. About a 4-second pause there. And it just stuttered there. So it's taking a little while to catch up. And then you can see the speed at which it's running. So again, hard drive, whatever hard drive array I put this on, the video on, is not really going to matter because there's no way it's even going to saturate the RAID 0. So putting the videos on the RAID F1 really don't make any difference. If I had multiple people transcoding perhaps, or direct streaming, direct playing, it might. But in my instance here, it doesn't. All right, so let me go put the Emby media player for Windows on here, or I think it's called Emby Studio or something like that, and we'll try it again. Alright, so we've got Emby player up and it sees my flash station 1018, so I'm going to go ahead and log into it. Go ahead and sign in, and we'll maximize that. Let's come back to our action adventure and let's go ahead and play Guardians. And we'll go ahead and just let's see, unlock this feature with Emby Premiere. So I'm going to need to put my Emby Premiere key in here. So let me do that real quick and I'll come back. Alright, so I put my Emby Premiere key in and it is working. So let me minimize that. And now as you can see, it's doing much better with Emby Theater, as they call it. Now it's able to direct play. I believe even the subtitles are turned on. So yeah, very little to no impact on the Synology flash station. As you can see, it's down at 0.07% of CPU time. So, you know, if you're going to play high-def videos and you're going to use Emby and you're going to use a PC, same way with Plex, use the player that they include. Don't use it through the web browser. Your experience is going to be much better, and it's going to be less impactful on your Synology device. I have the same problem on my DS918 Plus because it does not have a video decoder chip built into the CPU die like my Xpenology NAS does. It has an i3 processor with the Intel video sync built into it, or HD video, whatever they call that on Intel, quick sync or whatever they call that. So it's not as impactful on my home Xpenology NAS. So if you're going to be streaming or direct playing to devices, then Synology will be fine. But if you're going to be transcoding lots of streams, yeah, good luck with that. I don't think you're going to be happy with it. But there you go. We got both Emby and Plex up and running on Synology in just a matter of minutes. It didn't take much to get them installed. Alright, so I have the Emby dashboard up and running here. This is on the Synology flash station. So you see my little HP thin client behind me. That is this unit here, the BO NJD or NJNDU. That is the that's a little HP thin client. This is the Android TV, or it is the NVIDIA Shield, and you can see it is indeed transcoding. One thing I really like about Emby is if you click on this little icon here, it'll tell you the reason for transcoding. It's because, one, the audio codec is not supported and the media bit rate exceeds the limit. And then down here on the Roku, this is the one in the bedroom. It's playing Solo: A Star Wars Story. And you can see the reason for transcoding is the subtitle format is not supported. So I could probably get away with direct streaming if I would turn the subtitles off, but we're going to leave them on for now. I don't think you can turn the subtitles off from here. No, you can send a message. You can't see that. You could stop the play. You can pause the playback, etc. But let's go see what kind of impact this is having on the Synology flash station. So you can see it's pegging the CPU at about 80 to 90%. And if you come down here and look, you see we've got a couple of FFmpeg transcodes going on. Each one of those is consuming about 40%. Now I've got, and then you can see our throughput on our network here on LAN 5, which is the gigabit adapter. So the network is not the bottleneck. The bottleneck is actually the CPU within the flash station. But to my surprise, it's keeping up pretty well with 2 simultaneous transcodes. I think it's doing quite well. Now, what I'm going to do is now switch over to Plex and have Plex play those same movies with the same devices and see what kind of speed we get with this Synology flash station and see how many resources it's consuming. And then I will be running the Plex version of their studio software, their Windows native application, on that thin client behind me. We'll see what kind of picture quality we get. So just for shits and giggles, I'm going to see if I can actually stop playing all the streams here by just clicking on Emby and see if that doesn't take care of them all. And it appears as it has. So you see Emby drops down to about 1% CPU usage once I've done that, and then our networking goes off a cliff. Alright, so now let's get Plex up and running. You see I do have Plex already set up on here. I showed you that, how I loaded that on here. Now let's actually start streaming some videos and see what happens with that, see what the difference is. Alright, so if you take a look, let me switch over to the webcam here. If you take a look behind me, this is the Plex media player the native Windows app running on that HP T610 thin client. Yeah. Look, I don't expect that thing. I'm surprised that thing can play high def videos, period. But it just goes to show you, when I had Emby on there, it was playing smooth. I had the subtitles turned on. I don't know if you can see it now, but it is definitely pausing on the video. It's herky-jerky. It doesn't want to play well. Now, the unit behind it, or next to it, is running the NVIDIA Shield. It's running just fine. Let's go over and look and see what the impact is on my Synology. I'm sorry, on Sasha's Synology flash station. 95.5%. So as you can see, it's I think Emby is quite a bit better at transcoding video than Plex is. This has been one of my issues with Plex. Just seems kind of sluggish and slow, and they're constantly changing the interface. Now it's dropped down to 92%, but let me show you what I've got going on. So on the Shield TV, I've got it playing Alien Covenant. You can see it's transcoding both the video and audio. I'm direct playing the Guardians of the Galaxy once again onto that HP thin client behind me, and it's just it's just not as efficient. It's not as well written as the Emby Theater client is. And then I've got Star Wars, Solo a Star Wars playing, Solo a Star Wars Story playing on my bedroom Roku, and that again is transcoding H.264 to H.264 and DCA to AAC. Same way with this. So yeah, and you can see the kind of impact it's having. And actually, it looked like the Emby server was actually pushing a little more data out across the network than this is. Now it's calmed down to 27%, and Plex does that when it starts transcoding. It eats up quite a bit of CPU resources on both my Synology DS918 and this flash station. And keep in mind, this flash station and my DS918 do not have Intel QuickSync on them, like my Synology NAS does. But on that unit, I have an i3 processor in there that has the Intel QuickSync built into it. So now Plex has finally calmed down to, well, it's gone back up to 50%. But yeah, the video on Guardians of the Galaxy on that HP thin client, just not doing well at all. And as you can see now, the Plex Media Center is calmed down to about 50 to 30 to 50% as it's transcoding. So, and that's something I've observed with Plex. Once you let it play for a while, it starts to, I don't know what it's doing in the background, whether it's caching something or another, and that causes the impact on the CPU to go down. And you remember where Emby would break out each transcode as a separate FFmpeg stream. Plex, I've noticed, just kind of puts it under the Plex transcoder. It doesn't separate. As you can see, it's transcoding two of them, but it for whatever reason, it keeps it in one transcoder, and now it's gone back up. So what does all this mean? Well, it just means, the flash station, just like running virtual machines on the flash station, I don't know that it's well suited for that task. And running Plex or Emby, if you've only got a couple of, Rokus in your home, or smart TVs, or maybe a couple of NVIDIA Shields, you should be okay. 2 or 3 streams at a time, depending on whether they direct play or they're transcoding. I've had lots of people tell me, well, Joe, you should run all your videos through Handbrake, and then you guarantee they don't transcode. They'll direct play. Okay, well, I don't have that kind of time, and nor do I want to devote CPU resources. An average high-def video for me, even on this fast 6-core, 12-thread Ryzen 5 I'm running, takes about 50 minutes to transcode a high-def video, and about 30 minutes to transcode an MPEG-2 video to convert it to MP4. I did that for years when we had slower machines and when the Rokus weren't as powerful as they were. But now the Rokus have gotten pretty powerful. We've got the devices like the NVIDIA Shield. You got PCs now you can stream your video to. So I just don't find it necessary to consume the time to transcode my video or to convert it to MP4s. So I just rip everything natively into MKV files and, with subtitles and the audio tracks. And then I just let Plex or I let Emby figure it out. But more and more I've been, leaning towards Emby. I'm partial to Emby. It just works. And Emby doesn't keep having these damn updates that change the interface. I get so frustrated with Plex. You get the family trained on one way to use the interface, and then they change it, and they don't ask you before they change it, do they? Just assume everybody wants a new interface. And now, granted, I haven't spent a lot of time on Plex to go back and see if you can get the old interface, but I've gotten to the point now where when there's an update with Plex, if it ain't broken, if it's working, I don't update at all. The Emby updates I have been doing, in fact, the Emby version I think we're on now is, let me find that out for you. Yeah, we're on version 4.1.1.0, and it's been rock solid and stable for me. Now, these are just my personal opinions on this. If you're a fan of Plex, great. There are some things that Plex does better. It collects media, the metadata better. It has better matching. I very seldom get a mismatch on Plex. But on Emby, in fact, I spent last night going through there and fixing incorrect matches. Fortunately, you only have to do it once, but, that's something. I like the way Plex handles music a little bit better than Emby, but that could be because I'm not familiar with how Emby works with music. I haven't spent a lot of time on it. I tend not to spend a lot of time on features of software. Once I get it running, I just leave it alone. I want it to be as easy as possible for the family to run on it. So my results with Emby and Plex are going to be different than yours. Bite My Bits just did a whole video the other day on how to transcode, multiple streams up to, I think he had 12 or 13 of them going at one time. And my question was why? What, do you have that many people in your house that are streaming video? Something else that Plex does a little bit better than Emby, and that is remote access to your media from outside your network. Again, it's not something I use, but for those of you that do use it, it is a very important feature. So, but take a look at Emby, especially on the Synology NAS. I'm also going to put Emby onto a Windows 10 machine and try it on there and see how it performs. If it does better than it does on the Synology. But, this is another reason I keep running back to the Synology. Even this flash station with limited power and CPU, Emby does fine if you're just doing 2 or 3 streams. And so does Plex for that matter. But you're not leaving yourself a lot of CPU resources for any. In other words, if you load a bunch of other programs on your Synology flash station, you'd probably run out of CPU resources. If you're running it with Plex and with Emby. So something to keep in mind. So I guess the bottom line is, would I run Emby or Plex on a Synology flash station and use it like in a business setting? Probably not. But that's who's running Emby or Plex in a business situation at all. This flash station is not really marketed for the home user, maybe a home lab user. Again, I think it's going to be best suited to serve out as an iSCSI, NFS, or SMB share for virtual machines running on an actual machine dedicated to hypervisors. And that's one of the videos that's going to be coming up on this Synology flash station. We're getting ready to create a lab that is basically running off this Synology flash station, everything but the virtual machines. But we are going to host the virtual machine storage of the VM virtual machine images on the Synology flash station because it has all SSD drives in there. So we should get, with that in combination with our 10 gig network, we should get really good speeds on our virtual machines. So, but time will tell. Well, there you go, YouTube. We hope you found the video. Hey, one thing. I just want y'all to take a look around. We've cleaned up the office. I don't know if you remember the chair that was over there. It's gone now. up-high chair. So I was able to move the filing cabinet that was next to my desk over here with the printer on it out of my way. And I'll do a video on the office cleanup. It's still a little work in progress, but we just frankly got tired looking at it. I am tired of walking over things. And the big thing was, since I took that window air conditioner out of the window, I wanted to be able to, I'm like my father that way. Windows should be unobstructed. You should be able to walk in front of them and look out them. And that's why I bought this house, and that's why I placed this side of the house south facing. So I got lots of bright sunshine during the day because it helps, you know, fight depression and that kind of thing. And I love being in a well-lit room, and my dog loves being able to look out of 2 windows now instead of 1, so she's got twice the amount of things to bark at. So we'll do a little quick video on the cleanup at Uncle Joe's Playhouse because it was getting really cluttered. My business partner Jerry took a week or so off. He had some family stuff to attend to, and once he came back this Monday, we hit the ground running and really started cleaning this place up. So hopefully, I just couldn't stand the clutter anymore. But anyway, I digress. We hope you found the video entertaining and informative. Oh, and we got some new stuff that is coming into Uncle Joe's Playhouse, and it should be here by the end of the week. I'm very excited about it. So next week or the week after, you've got some exciting videos to look forward to. It's been a good month on Patreon. It's been a good month on PayPal. So thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to all the subscribers and non-subscribers that donated either through PayPal or through Patreon. You've made it possible to get some new equipment in here that we're going to be playing around with, and I think you could venture to guess what that already is, but I'm not going to disclose it here. So anyway, donate if you're so inclined. We do appreciate the patronage, and the donations go right back into the channel so we can buy more gear to test and play with. If you're so inclined. Don't feel compelled, though. And please, make sure to come back and see us again. And don't forget, we'll see you on the other side.